ngày hôm nay chúng ta có một người đặc biệt. Today we have a very special guest at our event. He's a former refugee who came to Canada in 1997 from Somalia, war-torn Somalia. Much like us, we left a country that was war-torn. So on behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to introduce the Minister of Immigration, Citizenship and Refugees, Ahmed Hussein.
Thank you very much for that introduction. It's an honor to join all of you here today. It is amazing to see what Canada is about every day. When you see communities like yours coming together for a good cause. Canadians are proud of our country. We this year are celebrating Canada's 150th anniversary of Canadian Confederation. So when we look at that history of the last 150 years, you see that the history of Canada cannot be separated from the history of immigration in Canada. In other words, those 150 years, what Canada looks like today is as a result of waves and waves of different immigrants who came at different times, some fleeing war and persecution like you and me, others coming to Canada in search of a better life, better opportunity, better economic circumstances. And when you look at the contributions that each wave of immigration made to Canada, you see in a true way how Canada has been shaped by that immigration. And that the country that today we celebrate, the country that allows you and me to be in the same room to support a good cause like this, is the country that has been built by immigration. So with the exception of our Indigenous brothers and sisters in whose territory that we today celebrate and stand on, with the exception of our Indigenous brothers and sisters, we're all immigrants. And if you want to see the success of Canadian integration, the one community that you can look at is the Vietnamese Canadian community. Because the Vietnamese Canadian community has come to Canada through difficult times, fleeing war and persecution, coming to Canada between 1975 to 1979, and out of that sad history, that dark time, was born a new start of life, a new community that came to a country and established itself, and now are proud Canadians. I think if you ask any Canadian in Canada about the Vietnamese Canadian community, they will say to you that the Vietnamese Canadian community is a great example of true Canadian integration. A community that has been able to keep its culture, to celebrate its language, but at the same time integrate into Canada and give back so much and celebrate their new country in a way that makes all the other Canadians proud. One more thing. When the Vietnamese Canadian community, when the Vietnamese boat people, the refugees came to Canada, it was the first time that in Canada we tried the private sponsorship of refugees. It was because of the Vietnamese refugee experience. And today, the private sponsorship of refugees is so much admired by the rest of the world. Did you know that Canada is the only country in the world that does private sponsorship of refugees? And that history came about because of the Vietnamese boat people and that experience, and they're fleeing to Canada in search of protection. So on behalf of Canada, on behalf of the Government of Canada, as the Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, I thank you for the efforts that you make each and every single day to make our community better, to make our province better, to make our city better, and to make our country, Canada, the great country that it is today. Thank you very much. King Chow.